moving on to another white supremacist off of Ben Shapiro. We're talking about Tucker Carlson. So recently, well, not even really recently, but throughout the past year, the census has been collecting data, as they do every 10 years. And recently, data has started to be released from the census. And the 2020 census found that the white population has not only decreased in proportion, but also decreased in size. Yes. About 5 million less white people are in the country compared to 2010. This data shows that white people make up about 57.8% of the total population, and a lot of other minority groups have increased their size.
Yeah.
Specifically, Hispanic Americans are more prevalent than they were before. They're just that's how.
Oh no, demographic shift.
Right.
Oh no,
demographic shift. Things that are normal. And of course, conservatives are losing their shit because less white people is bad for them. You can figure out why.
Naturally.
Tucker Carlson got on his show and started talking about how white replacement theory is basically real. And if you don't know, that's the idea that white people are trying to be, or that minority groups are trying to eradicate white people so that they can, rule the world on their own or whatever. It's very conspiratorial, and also that these kinds of theories have been used to perpetuate things like anti-Semitism. It's literally Nazism.
White replacement theory spawned from Nazism, did it not?
Yeah, right, because the whole idea behind Hitler's ideology was that the Jewish people are trying to replace us.
Yes. And the Jewish people were defined as not white.
Yeah,
which is just another reason why whiteness historically has been so wishy-washy, and it's a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because where does it stop? It's, again, Irish people not being defined as white when they came over here. It's like, what is it, just white Anglo-Saxon Protestants?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Who are not immigrants, who were born in the country.
Exactly.
Yeah, these kinds of theories, especially, or even when you talk about in the modern day, in like the last 60 years or so, white replacement theory has been used to justify vehemently racist rhetoric and acts. And you should be able to see right through it. Like, how do you watch this guy and not know that something's up?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, the whole time he's like arguing with the person he made up in his head, and he's just saying like, God, I drawn a blank on it, but he's so fucking stupid. I can't with him. He's talking the whole time about, he pulled up a CNN clip of, I can't remember exactly who the anchors were, but they were saying, look at who's in Ivanka Trump's office now. It's a person of color. And look who's in, I think, was it Steve Miller's office? It's another person of color. And they're like, yeah, that's one of us. And it cuts back to Tucker, and Tucker goes, with a stupid puppy dog look, he goes, one of us? What do they mean by that?
They don't mean Democrat.
One of us? What if I were to say that? It's like, yeah, it would be racist if you said that.
Yeah, literally. And in that same clip, I remember he started talking about Jennifer Rubin, who was on Twitter saying something along the lines of, we need to prevent white minority rule. It's good that America is becoming more diverse. I don't agree with Jennifer Rubin on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's just like some lib. But like nothing in that tweet was inflammatory.
Not at all.
But then Tucker Carlson said that Democrats want South America. They want South American apartheid.
Yes.
Which is weird, because if you know anything about the history of South American apartheid, is that it was the minority white ruling class.
South African.
South African
apartheid.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
South African apartheid was that it was the white minority ruling class that was oppressing everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's like he's saying that we need to protect white minority rule.
Dude, no.
South Africa. They want South Africa.
I can't with Tucker Carlson, dude.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they take him seriously. It's also, what's wrong with demographic shift?
Nothing. Yeah, no, that's the question they can't answer is what's wrong with this?
Like, what's wrong? Oh, dude, no.
What's the problem?
It just harkens back to a lot of them perpetuate colorblind ideology.
Yep.
Where's your colorblind ideology here now?
Yeah,
you're literally just whining about there being less white people.
Yeah, and he started blaming the loss of 5 million white people on the opioid crisis, which I thought was like, I did not understand where he was getting this. He basically said that Big Pharma has been poisoning people, which is true, and has led to the basically eradication of these 5 million white people, which is just like demonstrably false.
And also, what color are Big Pharma execs?
Right.
What color are the Sacklers?
And what color are people that have historically been abused by the medical system?
Yeah.
It's not white people.
It's not like that, but I'm pretty sure later on he took it and he tried to link it to fentanyl overdoses and immigrants bringing drugs over. So it's his rhetoric boils down to immigrants are coming over and not only diluting the population, but literally killing white people, and that's why we shouldn't let immigrants in here anymore.
And we can just disprove this whole idea of the opioid crisis causing white people to disappear. the fact that 5 million white people or 5 million less white people have been found by the census is usually or is probably a result of the census just having more options for race.
Yes.
More people are able to identify with the race that accurately describes them because a lot of people are not white only.
Facts. Most people are mixed. A lot of people are fucking mixed.
Right. And
we've seen a 300% increase in the mixed population with this new census data.
Right. And historically, people have not been able to choose the race that actually aligns with their characteristics. Yes. Like in the 2010 census, and definitely the ones that have been in years past, people have not been actually able to choose what accurately describes them. But now that they're able to, it's going to account for a loss in white-only people. Like, that's just how data works.
What I think is the funniest thing about this whole thing is it's just bringing back the one-drop rule.
Yup.
By him not counting the rise in the mixed population and just pointing to pure white people being diluted and lessening, it's just the one-drop rule again.
Right. If somebody is like a quarter black and 3/4 white, then in previous censuses, they may identify as white only because they didn't have any other option, didn't have a mixed race option. But now they're going to identify as mixed race because that accurately describes them. That's going to account for a drop-off in white only people.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. And he doesn't consider that person white.
No, clearly he doesn't consider that person white.
He wouldn't have before.
No, it's just the one-drop rule again.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
and then
fun.
And then he went on to say that white people leaving and Dems not caring about it encourages racial division, as if he's not on his national broadcast with millions of people listening, saying that they're trying to exterminate white people. Like, come on. Are you going to say that they're doing the racial division, dog?
Dude, I hate this guy. Him on his national broadcast talking about what about crime? What about black people committing all this crime, huh? What about BLM, the angry BLM rioters, Antifa?
Yeah. As if all of his rhetoric isn't clearly racially charged.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then he went on to say, which I think was the natural ending point for his rant, was that white people are the ones being oppressed, not any other minority group.
It's the majority is being oppressed.
Right, which is factually untrue. First of all, white people still make up a majority of the country, so I don't know why he's crying. Also, white people are further ahead in society in general on every single metric. Yes. Like, and I have a list here. White people tend to inherit more money and capital than other races do. White people have more homes and have homes more often than other races do. White families, on average, hold wealth longer and make more wealth than other the minority families may. White students make up a majority of the college population still, although that is slowly diversifying. In minority groups, specifically Black Americans, are often more targeted by the police, charged with harsher crimes, and make up a larger percentage of the prison population. None of the data, there is no evidence to support the idea that white people are the ones being oppressed in society.
Yes.
Like, there's no evidence. They're not marginalized. And if you're a white person feeling like you're marginalized, you're not. Get over
my
it.
Fucking dick.
You're literally not.
My entire shaft.
You are literally not. Tucker ends his entire rant by saying that we shouldn't talk about race anymore.
You're talking about race.
That's all he did.
That's all he did for the past, I think it was a 6-minute segment or something.
He got on in front of 4 million people and said that all this nonsense, and then said we shouldn't talk about race anymore.
Got on the most popular news channel in the country. Yeah. Mind you, I'm pretty sure Fox News is still literally #1 in ratings when it comes to news.
Yeah.
Yet they complain about being canceled and silenced.
Like, we are not that far removed from Black Americans literally being lynched for the color of their skin.
I'm pretty sure
country.
We are, is it 4 generations? Black Americans today are 4 generations removed from literal abject poverty.
Yeah.
Slavery.
Yeah.
4 generations.
Yeah.
Come on.
It is insane to think that he's making these arguments on national TV. This is old school white supremacy. This is what this 100%.
Is. This is literally Nazi shit right here.
Yeah, this is Nazism. And we always want to be careful when comparing people to Nazis because obviously they are, committed some of the worst crimes in history.
Inflate,
and we don't want to
devalue the atrocities.
Exactly. We don't want to dilute the meaning of Nazism. But this is literal Nazism.
Oh, 100. This is literal Nazi rhetoric. This is literally seeing 1488 in a username, those little dog whistles. It's all that is.
It's not even a dog whistle, bro. He's screaming. He is screaming with the megaphone. It is insane. I cannot believe that I had to watch that.